All right, now good afternoon. Welcome to the program. This is Trending News here on Lookuptv. My name is Brian Amwai. Now today, it has been a packed day, especially in the corridors of justice, where we have seen the courts actually deliver a ruling as far as the Finance Act is concerned. And to be specific, the issue to do with the housing levy, where they ruled it unconstitutional, whereby it has been quashed. Now, some of the issues that they were looking at was to, let me just check that, it was a three-judge bench that actually gave that particular ruling and giving a blow to the RUTO administration, which had projected that in the financial year 2023-2024, they'll have collected 63.2 billion as far as the housing levy is concerned, 70 billion 2024-2025, and 78 billion in the year 2025-2026. Those are some of the projections that the housing levy was supposed to have collected. The question that arises after that is what next, especially for the deductions that have already happened. We'll be giving you the details of this particular story now. It is a reprieve for workers after the High Court declared the housing levy unconstitutional. In a judgment earlier today, Justices David Majanja, Christine Meoli, and Lawrence Mugambi declared the housing levy null and void, calling it discriminatory as it imposes the levy on only a section of Kenyan population. Now, housing levy, according to the judges, only targets those in formal employment, leaving out those in informal sector.
It's not only individuals, the public, and operations of the state. As this was an informal application, the court could not interrogate the facts upon which the arguments by the parties were made. We are of the view that we do not have the last word on the matters at hand. The respondents are entitled to exercise the undoubted right of appeal to the Court of Appeal and thence to the Supreme Court. And in order to enable the respondents review their position in light of the judgment we have rendered, we are inclined to grant a stay for a limited period, and we order as follows. An order of stay be and is hereby issued, staying the effect of this judgment, issued today, 28 November 2023, pending the filing of a formal application for conservatory stay and conservatory orders in the Court of Appeal. And these orders of stay shall remain in force until 10th of January 2024. Those are our orders. Thank you very much.
Lord, we're ready. We thank you, first of all, for the judgment, and we thank you for
coming your way in our subsequent bulletin. That is just as far as the corridors of justice is concerned, rather. And also today, the court did rule that EPRA CEO Daniel Kipto not guilty of contempt. Of course, Busia Senator Kio Mtata had asked the court to jail EPRA CEO Kipto for increasing fuel prices despite orders suspending the Finance Act 2023, and that is back in July. Now, away from that, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has blamed poor infrastructural planning for the devastating El Nino crisis across the country. Now, speaking at the 17th Annual Kenya Institute of Planners Convention in Kwale, the DP said the government has disbursed 7 billion shillings as part of the intervention to aid flood-affected victims. Gachagua further stated that the government is working on restoring damaged roads and water dams.
Rapidly developing. This convention, therefore, is an opportunity to canvass and align priorities for the planners into the Kenya Kwanza plan as we work in making Kenya a planning society. That is why the theme, integrating the blue, green, and brown agendas, mainstreaming planning in all sectors for attainment of national socio-economic transformation, is very timely. I note that the theme is centered on urbanization and housing, land, natural resources and climate change, economy, trade, and investment. Esteemed planners, the RUTO administration recognizes a crucial role of spatial planning in socio-economic development. Further, we are committed to providing policy direction in land administration and management, urban development and management, as well as affordable housing. Thus, our target of 250,000 housing units annually in 5 years. To sustainability, planners have to ensure the housing units are accompanied by proportional transport and infrastructure, as well as accessible social amenities. Through the Ministry of Lands and Physical Planning, we are working towards ensuring that land laws and regulations are regularly updated alongside mainstreaming spatial planning into development plans. This will fortify urban development and management. Esteemed planners, we recognize the importance of county governments in grassroots development. In this regard, we have supported counties in establishment and strengthening of urban institutions. As a result, the number of municipalities created in the last 5 years has increased to 59. There have also been substantial infrastructural investments in the municipalities as a result of conditional grants from the national government provided for improving quality of life.
Now, the Kakamega Small Claims Court has ordered Mumias East Member of Parliament Peter Selassie to repay a debt of 500,000 shillings to businessman Robert Luta, along with interest and court costs. Luta had filed a case seeking payment of the debt, which he claimed to have loaned to the MP on December 13th last year, with an agreement for repayment after 2 months. Now, Luta also presented evidence in form of bank receipts from KCB Mumias branch to prove in court that he had transferred the money to Selassie's bank account.
In the end, I find that the claimant has successfully proven his claim as against the respondent. I further find that the respondent has not successfully proven his claim as against the claimant. His counterclaim cannot stand. I hereby order as follows. Judgment is hereby entered in favor of the claimant as against the respondent for the sum of 500,000 plus costs of the suit and interest at court rates from the date of judgment till payment in full. The respondent's counterclaim is hereby dismissed with no orders as to cost. It is so ordered.
Known as Robert Luta. He sued the Member of Parliament for Mumias East. And today the court has made a ruling in favor of my client that the MP should pay the money that he owes my client. And we are now proceeding to move to execute the judgment. Execution entails attaching his property or alternatively having him put in jail. So we will be hoping that he settles the amount without undue duress from us or pressure from us. We believe in the course of law, and today, regardless of the position of somebody in society, courts of law work based on the evidence presented by either party to work.
Now, flower farm estates in Naivasha have been identified as major hotspots for gender-based violence cases in the region. Now, the cases have been blamed on harsh economic times, mental illness and substance abuse. This comes during the 16th day of activism against GBV.
When you go to a church, issues of gender-based violence has been so rampant. We have been receiving, at most in every week, we have been receiving 3 or 4 cases.
We are activating our people to create a platform to come out and say, yes, this is happening. And we're also giving them direction as to what they are supposed to do when these things happen. We don't want to bring a case scenario whereby you go reporting this particular issue and then you are taunted in whichever way that it has occurred. Remember, gender violence is for even men. We have men who have also been suffering quietly. We are telling them, now come out. We'll have counselors. We'll have people who can be able to guide you.
Prevention and elimination of GBV is our role. We cannot eliminate GBV minus collaborating with the community at the grassroots level, as they are the vulnerable groups. We chose Kyoto because Kyoto and at large Naivasha prevails as the most prevalent area that has all forms of GBV.
People with disabilities are normally a forgotten lot, and even with their rights, hawajui rights zao. If you take a deaf person going to seek justice for sexual-based violence in our country, if you go to the gender desk, you'll never find a sign language interpreter. So what does that tell you? That that person in themselves hawatapata haki kwa sababu hatuelewani. I myself, I have cerebral palsy, and being a woman, at most times you're placed at a disadvantage because hawezi kimbia.
Now, residents of South Sakwa in Siaya County have taken to the streets to demonstrate over the rising insecurity in the area. The protesters now say that there has been a surge in house-breaking incidents and livestock theft. Now, they are now calling on the county government to address the dire situation.
Kwa sababu tunasumbuliwa na wezi. Wanakuja usiku, wanavunja manyumba, wanatoa vitu kwa nyumba, wanatoa kuku, wanaiba mbuzi, wanaiba ndizi kwa shamba, wanaiba vyombo, jiko, kila kitu wanachukua. Sijui kama ni shida ya njaa ama ni shida gani. Wanatembea usiku, wengine wanakata watu na panga usiku, wengine hawana heshima, wanakunywa pombe. Baada ya kutumia pombe na madawa za kulevya, wanakuja kuvunja vitu kwa nyumba za watu, wanaiba. Tunaomba serikali tusaidie kumaliza hao wezi, kwa sababu tumejaribu kama wana vijiji, wakipelekwa wanarudishwa tu.
Mimi vile naongea, tarehe 2 mwezi ya 9 nyumba yangu alichomeka usiku na mtu asiyejulikana. Nilipigia chief report, mpaka saa hii hajakuja hata kwa boma yangu. Polisi ya Kopolo walikuja wakapiga picha wakasema DCI anakuja, mpaka saa hii DCI hajakuja. Sasa hiyo ni serikali. Mimi naomba Deputy President Kithure Kindiki asaidie watu wa Maranyona na watu wa Kawere village.
Now, residents of Shihambi in Kakamega are lamenting over the rise of insecurity in the area after 5 people were killed with blunt objects in less than a month. Alfred Amambia, the organizing secretary of the Nyumba Kumi program, cautioned border operators in Kakamega town to be vigilant, alleging that many of these operators transport criminals armed with dangerous weapons who assault and rob them.
Makawani kwenda paka mama watoto. Hiyo barabara imekuwa na visa vya uhalifu sana, zimeongezeka. Hapa juzi kuna mtu ameuliwa, akapigwa kichwa na mtu ambaye alisemekana ni mteja wake, akamnyang'anya pikipiki. Alipiga kichwa vibaya sana hadi ubongo kabaki chini. Na juzi pia njia kutoka Musonga pia mtu akadungwa visu mingi sana kwa kichwa. Alafu pia hapa kuna wanafunzi pia asubuhi mapema wakati wanaraukia shule wananyang'anywa uniform asubuhi. Na usiku pia tumekuwa na visa vya watu kuvunja nyumba na kuchukua vitu kama sana TV za flat screen na vitu zingine za nyumba. So tunalia kabisa kwa sana aswa pia kwa governor, MCA. Hii njia ni ya county na hapa tuko town. So tunalia pia kwa governor Fernandez Baraza na MCA wetu Moses Musundi. Wajaribu kukuja hapa, tunaomba tu mwangaza peke yake.
Now, the International Labour Organization, ILO, has raised concerns over a sharp increase in cases of child labor and sexual exploitation in Kwale, Kajiado, Mombasa, and Bungoma counties. Now, ILO program manager Grace Banya stated that the incidents were attributed to poverty, drought, and traditional cultural norms.
Is that rural agricultural context still is the leading driver. These children are mostly in informal agricultural setting. One problem we have with statistics on child labor to show prevalence in the coast region, particularly the tourism industry is still a key driver of child labor, where children are particularly working in unregulated sectors. The governments, both at national and county level, are now recognizing that child labor is a scourge.
With children who are herding, and they go with cattle across the border into Tanzania and back. And a child who is herding cattle all day and all night will not be in school. So the issues there are mainly that, and for Kwale it's a lot of early marriages, children who are getting married early off, and and that is actually a worst form of child labor. For Bungoma, it's our other target county, but
all right, we've come to the end of our program at this particular hour, but just some information as far as the housing levy is concerned. That the court has granted government's request to retain the housing levy funds for 45 days. They gave an argument there, and in the ruling, the judges granted the government the 45-day period, noting that the conservatory orders will remain in force until January 10th, 2024. Now, I just want to read that, an order by Justice David Majanja. An order to stay is hereby issued today, pending the filing of a formal application for conservatory orders in Court of Appeal, and these orders of stay shall remain in force until January 2024. So what does this mean? Well, it means that Kenyans will continue to pay the housing levy until January. Now, following the ruling, lawyer George Murugara, who represented government, confirmed that they would appeal the housing levy verdict at the Court of Appeal. Let me just take you through what was the reason and what reason did they give seeking these conservatory orders. Now, they said that these are operations that are going to be affected, including what date is the effective cessation of the collection of the levy. Is it from today or the time the act was enacted? Now, tomorrow there will be an avalanche of Kenyans going to KRA asking for a refund. They are not given their money because there is a procedure that has to be followed. Then they will be in court with contempt applications. So this is a real danger facing everyone in government who must comply with this particular order. That is the statement and the argument that the lawyer did give, the lawyer representing the government. I'll be back with you tonight on The Bottom Line. It will be getting deeper into this conversation, trying to make sense of it. So tune in for that particular hour. Fiona Kenga will be coming your way at 7 p.m. on Lookuptv with more details. The story is making headlines today. See you at night.